On CNN, Bernie Sanders was asked if America would ever go socialist.
This is the president. America will never be a socialist country. Will that hold true if you're elected president?
If I am elected president, we will have a nation in which all people have health care as a right, whether Trump likes it or not. We are going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. We are going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage of at least $15 an hour. And whether Trump likes it or not, when I talk about human rights, you know what that also means? It means that our kids and grandchildren have the human right to grow up in a planet that is healthy and habitable.
Clap, clap, clap. All right, it's the golden rule of socialism. When asked about how it works, focus on the ends and skip the means. Because in the end, we all want free stuff. Healthcare, school, cheeseburgers. Free anything is awesome, especially if you believe that free anything actually exists. It doesn't. Take the tuition-free joke. More than 8 million student borrowers have defaulted on their federal loans for higher education. Why is that? Thanks to all that free and easy money from the loans. There's no incentive for colleges to cut admission costs and no reason not to go to college. Education costs tripled, debt exploded. Now the streets are paved with English majors. College administrations ballooned because the loans inflated the tuition. It looked like it was free, but now you're broke, which means you can't buy cars, goods, or a home because you're busy paying off Uncle Sam. That's how you kill industries. That's socialism. It's a drag on the economy, and it's a drag on you. Still, so many think that if you vote socialist, all your debts are forgiven. If students are debt-free, then colleges must be cost-free. Free buildings, free books, free beer, free you, free me. Socialism's talent is getting people like Sanders to lie about free. Because who doesn't want a free life? Capitalism, it's such a drag. Like gravity, it's a downer. But if America's slow death is boring, then let's just skip to the finish line, to Venezuela, where Maduro detained a reporter for showing video of people eating from a garbage truck. Oh, look, free food. In a socialist paradise, that's what you call a Bernie burger. Welcome back, Dana. See, I wrote that down there. Welcome back, Dana.
You have to write that down?
Yes, I forgot.
You just couldn't speak it from your heart?
I always think that if somebody's away, that's the first person you should go to.
Oh, that's an interesting theory.
Yes, it is. I want to talk to you about this poll because you like polls.
I like polls and charts.
Let's put this poll up here. This poll is very depressing.
Yes.
56% of registered voters between 18 to 24 favor mostly socialist economic models.
Yep.
48% of voters between 25 to 34 said the same thing. That's scary and sad. Do you care to comment on that?
Well, then the 55 and older are like, no, we don't
way.
want any of that. And I think that's partly, we've talked before about having to teach the lesson over and over again about our system and why it works. And the other thing is that it shows just that you have to take it seriously. Because one of the things I'll say about the group between 18 and 34, that they saw the financial crisis that their parents went through. Maybe their parents lost their job, or maybe they were graduating around the time of the financial crisis. So the job market was tough. And so, unfortunately, the other thing that you see is that, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, this is just a fact. You know, people who will say, I'm fiscally conservative but socially liberal.
Right.
And you think that there's a lot of those people. If you look on a graph, it's actually not true. The most amount of people are in the socially conservative, fiscally liberal camp.
Oh, I don't like those people.
Well, a lot of those people are watching.
I'm kidding.
But there's a theory that government can do it better. And one thing I would say about the free college thing, it just shows a real lack of innovation. If you look at somebody like former governor of Indiana, Mitch Daniels, he's now the president of Purdue University. They knew that they had a problem with school tuition. It was going up. So how did they figure out? They didn't just decide to give it away for free. They figured out a way to work with employers so that employers that think they want to hire you in your junior, when you're a junior, they think they want to hire you, they start paying you then, so that they help defray the cost of tuition so that you will then have a job going through, and it's worked really well. But that's an innovative way to do things.
That's exactly right. That's actually a solution that helps deal with a promise.
Right.
But what we see from Bernie and the left generally, Jesse, is just the promises.
Right. Well, it's typical liberalism. You create a problem and then you swoop in and try to fix it. I'm going to go surface. I'm not going to talk polls or facts. I'm looking at Bernie Sanders here, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy's lost his fastball. He seemed rusty to me. His cadence was plodding. Da-da-da-da-da-da. He seemed boring. The audience was not electrified. I caught some of this last night, unfortunately. And I have to say something, and it's just brutally honest. He is not good looking enough to be president of the United States.
Wait a minute.
In the television age, Bernie Sanders,
This is great.
Everybody knows it, and I'll say it, he is not good looking enough to be the president. When you have a president, you're inviting them into your home for 4 years. You want to be able to look at them. They have to be telegenic. You have to be comfortable with them. Bernie Sanders is just not handsome enough to be the commander-in-chief.
I predict within 3 minutes, you're going to get a text from your mother. And your mother is going to make you apologize to Bernie Sanders.
That could be happening any moment. But I will say, no, if we want to talk about the pie in the sky and the deal, the Green New Deal that he's pushing, they just ran the numbers on this thing.
90.
Unbelievable, nearly $100 trillion over 10 years. And guess how you pay for it, Juan? The only way you can pay for the Green New Deal is if you raise everyone's taxes making over $30,000 a year to 100%. Everybody in America can't make more than $30,000. That's the only way you can pay for this stuff. And he doesn't have a plan besides taxing everybody. Donald Trump does. He wants to grow the middle class. And you look at the news right now, you have Jeep now announcing a new plant in Detroit, 6,300 new jobs created, good paying jobs with billions more invested in that great city, and I think the proof is in the pudding.
The proof's in the pudding, Juan.
Yeah, I guess that Harley saw the proof. That's why they left. My thinking on this is most Americans agree with Bernie. I mean, that's
scary, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Then you should
it's not
nominate
scary.
him, Juan. Make him your nominee.
No, but I'm just saying, you guys talk about socialism like it's the end of the world, like people who are Americans who love capitalism, love our society, don't understand what Bernie's talking about. And this is what he said last night. He said, we're talking about democratic socialism. It doesn't mean that the government takes over the means of production or there's no more private property. What it means is that you have protection so that people can, for example, retire with dignity, so that people have security in living in life.
I'm not retiring with dignity.
Right, but here's the thing. When Bernie was asked, well, how do you pay for it? Because I think that's your question. Yeah. I think that was the heart of it. He said something very interesting. He said, Amazon, how much taxes do they pay? It's the biggest company. Answer, they're not paying state. They pay state and local, but they don't pay federal taxes. And then you look back at the record.
They pay federal payroll taxes.
Right, they don't pay federal taxes like we're talking about on income.
See, the solution's always taxes.
So,
Morgan.
and then you think about other big companies like GE or some of the airline companies.
What happens if they fail? What happens if those companies go bankrupt?
They don't pay taxes.
Kill the goose.
At this table, they say, oh, you know what? This is social. Yeah. Maybe it's, how about the Trump tax cut?
Juan, Amazon's not paying any taxes in New York because the socialists chased them out of New York.
Morgan, I want to get Morgan in here. It seems to me the solution for everything is taxation, not creation.
Yeah. Why didn't you think of this before now, Brett?
I don't know. It just dawned on me.
You know, listen, we could have a whole debate over the economic philosophy over this. It is shocking to me, these numbers on the polls. But I think, what I see going on in the Democrat Party right now, to me, there's more sophistication from a policy perspective on like a college president election than there is in this party. I mean, the sort of free stuff that they're advocating, they might as well be advocating for the cheeseburgers that you brought up earlier. But I know, actually, cheeseburger sounds good right now.
Yeah, if you created a garbage truck and called them Bernie burgers, it would go great.
It probably would.
Yeah.
But listen, Bernie raised $10 million from almost 360,000 donors, $5.9 million in one day. The establishment Democrat Party in 2020 is acting exactly like the establishment Republican Party in 2016, in which they said there's no way it could ever be Trump. This isn't going to happen. When you look at the polls, when you look at the money, when you look at the energy, I think it's completely behind Bernie. And this time they can't rig the primary against him like they did in 2016.
Did Bernie have a real job before becoming a politician?
He wrote erotic fiction.
Okay.
You know what I wanted to say, though? I mean, Dana was saying this thing about the young people, the numbers, and how the young people are more apt to say yes to socialism than the seniors. And I think to myself, boy, that's ironic, isn't it? The seniors get Social Security, Medicare, VA benefits.
Seniors,
They also
Juan.
fought wars.
50
Oh,
years
is that
ago.
right?
50 years
Oh, yeah.
ago.
Well, I
They're
think
not
those
seniors.
people are the older folks. And guess what? They're the ones who say no, but they're the ones that are benefiting from socialistic
successful
They
dollars.
also
People that
ended
know what
socialism
life
in a
is
few
about.
wars.